So hi, my name's Riley and I am 21 years old and I work in student politics by day, but by night I am a drag performer by the name of Cervix. My first time in drag was actually kind of something that me and my friend decided that we wanted to try. I bought all the stuff and he kind of bottled out and I was like, fuck it, I'm still going to do it. And I ended up entering into a competition where I came fourth out of 8 people, so not too disheartened by that. We were just messing about one night and we got very drunk together and we just thought, you know what, we should do this. And we don't know where it came from, we don't know where this idea came from that we should definitely try drag, but we did. I've had 3 drag names in total. So I started off as Elise Capri, which someone very nicely pointed out in the club was 2 car makes, so I wasn't too happy about that. Which then kind of led into Nuvea Windsor. I chose Nuvea because it's heaven backwards, and I always used to go around telling everyone that I was their backwards version of heaven, and Windsor is obviously the Queen's name, so it was kind of the most kind of fitting name. I ended up with the name I have now, which is Cervix, which not only is funny and witty, and it brings out my personality, but it also brings out my politics. Most of my friends are LGBT, so the idea of me becoming a drag queen was kind of really up their street. They really enjoy me coming out in drag with them, sometimes more than they enjoy Riley coming out with them. It wasn't until I started making money that my parents were kind of like, oh no, actually, like, yeah, this is cool. And that's essentially how they took it. The minute that you kind of step out the house in drag, you are defying society's norms. So I expected some sort of backlash. Like, if I ever go out in drag with my friends, I always make sure I'm the first one in the taxi to be dropped off. Because some taxi drivers aren't particularly friendly about it. Some people just aren't particularly friendly about it. And that's just because we live in a heteronormative society which hasn't learned how to break down those barriers yet and hasn't actually evaluated that to be part of society. I try to take provisions to make sure that I'm never kind of alone when I'm in drag. Purely because it's not safe. It's not safe for anyone who's LGBT to kind of be alone when you're vulnerable. Yeah. When you're LGBT, like, no matter if you're in drag or out of drag, you are vulnerable. Some people really kind of know the history of drag and why it's so important to our culture, and then other people don't. And these are normally the people that you come into issues with. I think that's one thing that I always notice that comes out of Pride events is the fact that, especially this year, there were so many young people coming up to me and saying that they were gender fluid, that they were bisexual, and these kids were like 13 to 15. And I remember when I didn't come out till I was 17. Like, I came out really late, and it's so great when you've got people who are so young coming up to you and saying that they look up to what you do. I just want to carry on inspiring young people and telling them that it gets better after school. Things aren't always going to be bad for you for being LGBT, and I think that's an important message that all drag queens should carry. We celebrate the community, but sometimes a lot of sadness comes out of those days as well, because there's a lot of people who never made it through there, and I think that's the sad thing is, we celebrate fallen warriors for people who fought for our cause but were never able to make it. And I think that's what Pride is all about for me. I go because I like to celebrate the fact that we are there, but I also like to be aware that there are people that came before us that didn't make it. Drag is a massive platform for people who want to raise a finger to government normality, heteronormative societies. The idea of being able to be fluid within one's practice is something that was very important to me in my years of studying as well, so that's something that I carried on to take forward. During my time at university, I started off as a painter, and then I moved into gender politics, and essentially I was doing drag throughout that, and I was playing with the idea of fluidity of gender and the idea of being able to do drag no matter who you are, essentially, and no matter who you wanted to embody. That was your right, and that was who you wanted to be, and that's where that kind of started. And then in my 3rd year, I went into more of the performance side of things. I don't think you have to be particularly masculine or feminine. I think masculinity and femininity work hand in hand together, and I think everyone has aspects of masculinity and everyone has aspects of femininity within themselves. Really, we all have masculine traits and we all have feminine traits. I don't know what my future plans are for cervix, but I'm not mad at that. I think that drag is something that should be spontaneous, should be, you should just see where it takes you. Drag changes, like, all the time. And that's just because drag culture changes all the time, and things that are popular change all the time. So I'm not going to say that I have any particular plans, apart from keep doing what I'm doing, keep performing, keep my politics, because every time I step out on that stage and I'm performing a cervix, I'm not just a performer, but I'm also a politician and an activist.